Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being with us. Welcome to an all-new edition of Christian Media Spotlight CMS TV. I am your host, as always, Joe Neal. Thank you so much for being here with us. As always on the program, we give you the stories and testimonies of your favorite personalities in Christian entertainment. That includes actors, authors, music artists, and we're going to talk all about Christian music and the best that was in 2019. We have Kevin McNeese joining us as our guest today. He is the purveyor of New Release Today and the Christian Media We Love Christian Music Awards, the 8th annual, presented in part by Visible Music College. Please welcome Kevin to the show. Kevin, how are you today? Great to have you joining us.
Hey, Jay. Thanks for having me. We're way excited to see you again. We've known each other for a long time.
Long time. It's been about 8-9 years now, I think, since we've been, it's great to have you on the broadcast again. It's been quite some time. It's been far too long.
I know. What's the deal? You need to have me on like every month.
I know. We need to do this definitely more often. It's great always getting together with you guys. We enjoy the work that you guys do as fellow media friends over at New Release Today. We enjoy the work that you do. And tell us all about the We Love Christian Music Awards. You guys have been doing this 8 years ago. I think we talked right about the time the first one happened, actually. But the 8th annual, tell us how this We Love Christian Music Awards is different than any other Christian music award show out there. And how did you guys first conceive this award show back in 2011, 2012?
Yeah, great questions. We were in line for Jay Leno in California on a trip, and we were just brainstorming. We had a lot of time because they put you in a line and then you wait for like 3 hours to get into the show. So we were just brainstorming a bunch of ideas of what we could do. And one of those ideas were, well, what if we did an award show? We aren't really excited about what we're seeing out there. There's a lot of artists that we love that aren't getting represented. And so what could we do different instead of kind of just do the same thing that everybody else was doing? What would be different about it? And so that's really where it started, and we just said, let's do it. And the first 3 years, we were out on the Rock and Worship Roadshow. We announced winners every single day of the tour, and then we've had it at Seth Mosley's studio in Nashville. We did a documentary one year, and then the next couple of years, we've been announcing the winners live from Visible Music College in Memphis. So it's been this weird, wild. Every year is different, but the general concept is the same. We want to give fans an opportunity to not only discover new Christian music, but vote on what we believe, as the editors of NRT, is the best music releasing from everybody, not just signed artists, but independent artists and the whole spectrum. So we think we've done an okay job at that. We're having fun. 8 years, I can't believe it. So.
Time definitely flies. And tell us about the challenges that NRT goes through. So much Christian music, not just on the mainstream Christian radio stations, but the main guys all the way down to the independents. There's so much music released every year. How much of a challenge is it for you and the editorial staff of paring down the list every year of these categories and coming up with 5 or 6 ones that stand out in each of these categories every year?
There's some good arguments that take place. We give each other some vetoes internally of this one just has to be there, and that's my veto, and no one can argue it. But music and what we all love is subjective. So it's next to impossible to do a perfect job at it. But I believe that when you listen to all of it and you love all music as we do, this is not a job. This is a passion. We're listening to music all throughout the year and making notes all throughout the year. Now that we've done this and we know it's coming, I always make notes. I already have notes for January and some songs that I'm like, that's incredible, and we got to remember that this December, and so it's not easy, but when you enjoy it, hard work doesn't feel like work. It's just fun, so.
I think that's for you and I think have a shared passion in common. We want to feature everybody who has a story and a testimony. It isn't just about the chosen few who appear on radio. It's about giving everybody who has a voice, who has a story, that platform to be able to tell it through their creative gifts that God has given them. The last couple of years, I think Visible Music College has been your sponsor last year and this year. I believe this is their second year coming on board with you guys. Tell us a little bit about Visible Music College out of Memphis. artists and what they bring to the award ceremonies for you guys?
Visible has been an incredible partner for us. They have campuses all across the United States. I know of one in Chicago. I know of one in California. Their main campus is in Memphis, which is just a 3-hour trek away from Nashville, which is kind of the heart and hub of Christian music. And Tarian, which is a Goatee artist, is a Visible Music alumni. So they're really starting to get a lot of artists branching out in education. But they're not just about artists. They're also a music school. So they teach engineering. They teach, if you want to be behind a board at a church or worship leading, or even just, music at large. It doesn't even have to be in ministry per se. So they're a technical school, and they've got a lot of artistry as well. They partner with Madison Line Records, which is a record label that's run out of California. And they just have a huge heart, as we do, to celebrate great music. And again, that can come from the label system, that can come from the independent system, but I don't believe there's an awards entity out there at this scale that really includes both. And so they saw that vision, and they're like, we're all in. And so they open up their campus to us every year, and we go to Memphis and have this big event in Memphis. It's a ton of fun. We're going to be broadcasting it live so everybody can join in. I know not everybody can go to Memphis. And if you did, we wouldn't have seats for you anyway. But so we broadcast it live so you can save your money and watching your PJs at home. And it's going to be February 25th at 8 p.m. Central Time, I believe. So, and Joseph, I'm going to give you a little get. We did announce this in a previous. We did announce this in a previous broadcast that was not really watched. So this is a get for you. We are going to have Meredith Andrews host and perform, which is awesome. And we're shoring up this week all the other performers and those artists that are going to be there as we plan to celebrate all the nominees. So it's going to be Visible is amazing. Can't say enough about them. They've been, for me, I'm only one guy, and we have a team of creatives here, but we can only do so much with this idea. And I understand my limitations. I need partners and people to believe in it. It takes money to put it on, and so it takes a location. It takes tech that I don't have, tech experience that I don't have. And so I just sit down and I pray, God, I'm going to do my thing, and you take it where you want. And if that's just at me, great. If that's just to the fans, fine. But if you have other partners, I'll say yes, and we'll jump in together. And Visible has stepped up. So I love those guys. We're excited to be with them.
That's fantastic. We just love the work you guys do each and every year with the We Love Christian Music Awards, and of course all year long with the work you do with New Release Today. Let's dive into some of these. If viewers have any comments as we go through a couple of these award categories or who they're voting for, you want to lobby for your favorite artist, chime in and let us know if you've got any questions.
Yeah, I think Katie's out there. Hi, Katie.
Katie is out there, yes. She says, one of the many things I love about NRT, it's not just mainstream. So yeah, Katie is definitely out there. She's a great loyal viewer of both of our programs and entities. It's great to have her on board as well. The first award I want to talk about, and the reason why I'm bringing this up first, is because you, Kevin, had an NRT radio network for a number of years there, and due to licensing, of course, and just other things involved with running a streaming music network, unfortunately, it is not anymore for now.
Yes.
For now, maybe it'll come back, but where God closed the door, another one opened, and it truly did for you when it come to Project 88.7, a great radio station you got involved in Boise, and it came along on board and is sponsoring one of the categories this year, the the rap hip hop category this year, which I guess is new for 2019. So tell us a little bit about this category and just your involvement with Project 88.7 and the great work that they do.
Well, this was just an amazing God story, and
I'll tell it very quick. I tend to talk too much, so I'll tell it quick. NRT Radio was going for 10 years. The day that I decided to close it, which was very hard for me, NRT Radio was an incredible personal passion of mine, but for a ton of reasons, it came to the end of the road. That happens when you do this for 17, 18 years, you start stuff and stop stuff. That's just part of the progress. So, but it was an incredibly sad day. So 2 hours after I turned the station off, I had a scheduled meeting. Didn't plan it this way, but a scheduled meeting with a project, which is a local radio station here in Boise, Idaho, that plays like hip hop and rap and urban, as well as pop and dance and electronic. Just really cool vibe. There's only like 8 stations in the country that does this format. And really was just showing up, going, I just want to show up and volunteer. My kids love this station. A lot of people have showed up for me. I've had my head down forever. I want to show up for the community. And they actually asked me if I would be an on-air talent in that meeting, and just do some work on weekends. And so I said yes, which was like, I wasn't expecting that at all. And it was really cool that offer came literally a couple hours after I said, kind of shut the door on radio. So really cool, different space, but kind of that same passion. So I do weekends from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and we have fun time with it. And you can listen at project887.com. Well, they're incredibly passionate about independent artists as well. And so I asked them, hey, would you want to sponsor a couple of these? I do these awards. Or would you want to kind of, mold together all these corners that we're all in? And they were up for it. So they're the sponsor of our Hype Award, which is Rap Urban Album of the Year. And they're also sponsors of our brand new category this year, which is Rap Urban Song of the Year. And like, they've been awesome. So they're a good partner and they're playing our spots, and it's weird to be driving around Boise and hearing "We Love Award" commercials. Like, what is life? This is weird. But it's just that for me, it's always just a little steps forward. We don't have a big conglomerate behind us. New Release Today is not operated by any kind of major company or independent. I run this out of my home. Literally, this is my home office. I run it out of here. So I've always had to grow at God's pace, not mine. If it's my pace, I want to go out and conquer the world yesterday. But God's timing is perfect, and I've learned to really rest in peace in His timing and just kind of slowly build. And 8 years in, the project is another example of how we've slowly built it. So there you go. See, I told you I wouldn't talk long, and then I blabbed forever. I'm horrible.
We both have the gift of gab. It's okay. I think it's part of what we do. It's our gifting, right? I mean, we wouldn't be here if we were just timid individuals.
Every once in a while, Joseph just play like a little foghorn and wake everybody up for you.
I'll see if I got that sound effect on hand there. Elizabeth Holthouse checking in. Before we go over some of these categories here, rap and hip hop will be first. Is hello from Sellersville, Ohio. Who inspired you? Did you have any influences growing up listening to Christian music? Did you have any influences, the artists you look up to, or?
Yeah. Well, I saw the question. I'm not an artist. If she thinks I'm an artist, I'm not. So that's one thing. I mean, I do lead worship, but I write a song to save my life. So, but I support artists who do. So influences, I mean, some of my favorite artists, I love Switchfoot, I love Skillet, 21 Pilots. I love discovering music. So like Hulvey is a new artist I've just discovered. Colony House, I know they're kind of big in indie, but I've discovered them recently and I love them. And I also love singer-songwriter types like Andrew Peterson. Jason Gray has got some great new stuff out. Unspoken is huge. Dave Pettigrew is big. I just said that for Katie, who's watching.
Hopefully she's paying attention. That was her alarm moment. Just
that was hers.
Out there. Yeah.
She's like, what?
Huh? Okay. But I love all great music in all genres except country, gag, and Southern gospel. Sorry. And I can't do the metal. I can't do like metal screamo music. It's just like smile, have fun. Why are you so mad? Need a hug.
I think we're pretty similar musically, strangely enough. There does that explain why there's not a country music category yet? For
no, kind of. No comment. No other comments.
Well, before we get into a couple of these, tell us real quick, of course, where we can go vote. Voting is open until January 31st. Tell us how we can go out there and vote.
Yeah, we are approaching 11,000 votes
already. There's 10 categories that are from between first and second place or 500 votes apart. So really, we're going to have a lot of shifting here in these final couple weeks, but we're down to 15, 16 more days left to vote as of today. And you can vote at weloveawards.com, and you'll see a vote link right there. That's probably the easiest. weloveawards.com.
And of course, let's get into a couple of these. We will start with the Rap and Hip Hop Song of the Year, the brand new category for 2019. And here to refresh everyone's memory is the nominees. Take a look.
The 8th annual We Love Christian Music Awards is here, celebrating the absolute best Christian artists, songs, and releases of 2019. Powered by the leading Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com, and sponsored exclusively by Visible Music College, preparing Christian musicians, producers, and managers for music ministry and the music industry. Here are your nominees in the following category. Project887.com presents Rap Hip Hop Song of the Year. Andy Mineo featuring Govna B. Keeping It Moving.
Keeping it moving. What are we doing if we ain't moving? Keeping it moving.
KB. Hold Me Back.
They gon' have to hold me back. They gon' have to hold me back. Hold me back.
Social Club Misfits. Every Time.
If we pop up in your city, we gon' shut it down. I got a rapping squad even if I'm out of town.
Stephen Malcolm featuring Natalie Grant. Even Louder.
Even louder.
Hey, my God is stronger than any sin that I hold. More pressure.
Tadashi. Godflex.
Bless me, God. God, bless me, God, dress me, don't stress me.
Rap Hip Hop Song of the Year.
So, of course, all of these guys have had successful years. Stephen Malcolm and Natalie Grant, of course, you heard them all throughout Christian radio this year. Andy Mineo, Tadashi, all those guys had great, successful years. Tell us about this category and the years that you think a lot of these guys have had.
Yeah, I mean, Reach Records has really dominated this category. You got 3 of the 5 artists on Reach Records. They're just putting out some fantastic music. And they'll continue representing really well in this category in years to come, I think. We're supposed to get a new Lecrae record here pretty soon. But so that's Andy Mineo, KB, and Tadashi. And then you got Social Club Misfits over on Capitol. And that song is just fantastic. Every time, that would be my personal pick in this category is that song. I can't get tired of that one. But Stephen Malcolm, I think, has a little bit of a leg up because he partnered with Natalie Grant on this one, and so that song really was the multi-format hit, and I think a lot more people are resonating with that one. But this one I will say is a tight category. This is one of those 10 that really is tight, and it could go one of 3 ways right now. So that's all I'll say. Got to vote. All right.
The 8th annual We Love Christian Music Awards is here, celebrating the absolute best Christian artists, songs, and releases of 2019. Powered by the leading Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com, and sponsored exclusively by Visible Music College, preparing Christian musicians, producers, and managers for music ministry and the music industry. Here are your nominees in the following category. Male Artist of the Year, Andy Mineo.
Keeping it moving. What are we doing if we ain't moving? Keeping it groovy. Hey.
Danny Goki.
Cause if you see it through my eyes, you know that you are wanted. You know that you.
Jeremy Camp.
I was a dead man walking until I was a man. Walking with you, I was a
Franklin.
Come on. He saves his name. He will come through. Heroes now, that's not what superheroes.
Zach Williams.
In the dead of night, fighting my battles, Lord. You are my rescue story.
Male Artist of the Year. Voting for the 8th.
A lot of tight categories there. We got Jeremy Camp, who had a brand new album this year. We had Danny Goki, of course, his Monster Smash, of course, included the hit. Just haven't seen it yet. We've got so many great names on there. Zach Williams, you got Kirk Franklin on there. Some tried and true, just some legacy artists on there. In another tight category, who do you think had some of the best years out there as far as the male category goes? Which way do you think you might see this one going?
Yeah, I personally love Jeremy's album. It blew me away. I think in ways that his previous 3 records have not. And so I've been a little snooze fest on Jeremy in the past decade. I know he's always popular and he's always out there, but for me, I don't know, he just hasn't hit it out of the park, and I think this is going to be his year. Not only with a new album, which is charting well, but there's a good 4 or 5 songs on that record. In fact, I'm gonna look up the song that everybody needs to hear as I kind of talk here, if I can multitask. But that song or that album is just great. And then of course he has the movie coming out, which I actually got to see.
Yeah,
have you seen it yet? Did you go to a preview?
It is fantastic. It's
amazing. It'll have everybody crying from the start to the finish, like man crying, like sobbing snot. Maybe that was just me, but it was really good. So I think this is going to be a huge year for Jeremy, and it might start with the We Love Christian Music Award win. Who knows? But Andy, what I love about this category is you've got a gospel artist, you've got a rap artist, and you've got a couple handfuls of contemporary and pop artists as well. So a lot of different genres. We Love does that a lot. We just throw all the genres together and hit mix. And it's fun to see what comes out and what comes out on top. So,
yeah, I think Jeremy has just had a great year. It feels like he's got a bit of a pep in his step. I mean, it feels like creatively this has been a real good album for him, and a lot of people are resonating with that. He's really kind of found a groove again.
Go listen to the song "You Don't" with Social Club Misfits.
Yes.
If that is not one of his biggest hits ever, then I'll quit the game. But that's going to be massive.
Probably won't come out for a couple more singles, I would guess, but that one's going to be massive. And that bridge by Social Club Misfits is so good. Great song. So good album.
I would not be hurting if that one went to radio and became a smash hit for sure. That is definitely a fantastic song. I agree 100% with you there.
Yeah.
Female, just as close. In fact, I believe we have the gal who's hosting it up for an award on here.
She is, yeah.
Yes, she is. Correct. That would be Female Artist of the Year. For those who need a little refresher, here are the nominees of who you can vote for Female Artist of the Year.
The 8th annual We Love Christian Music Awards is here, celebrating the absolute best Christian artist, songs, and releases of 2019. Powered by the leading Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com, and sponsored exclusively by Visible Music College, preparing Christian musicians, producers, and managers for music ministry and the music industry. Here are your nominees in the following category. Female Artist of the Year, Amanda Lindsay Cook.
So I will be still.
Ellie Limebear.
Jesus, you're still the name. Holding me still.
Meredith Andrews.
Full of faith, and one day I'll say no other.
Riley Clemens. Tasha Layton.
I am safe here. Let down my guard, fall in your arms and stay.
Female Artist of the Year. Voting.
Boy, a lot of great categories in there. My goodness. I mean, we have a lot of great nominees in there. We have Meredith Andrews, who had another great year. She's going to be hosting the awards, as we found out here.
Yes.
We have Ellie Limebear, who's going to be joining us here next week on the show. She'll be out on the road show this year, coming up in 2020. Tasha Layton. So many great female artists who've had a great year out there. Who's your early front runner here? Who you got your money on this year?
Well, before I tell you that, it was a slow year for female artists, and as we were looking at the entire year at large,
kind of was a little bit than most. It seemed like, yeah,
it was just a mile long. It was just a mile long, but female artists was, the list was a lot smaller. So, it seems to be. It seems to cycle through, so hopefully this year will be a stronger year for female artists. But I love what Riley Clemens is doing. I think she is an artist that we are seeing A&R development happen before our eyes right now in this weird Spotify streaming culture. Typically, a label would hold on to these artists, and the first time we see them is through a full album release. And we're not seeing that now. We're seeing new artists really develop over the course of a couple years with one or two singles, every 3-4 months. And Riley is definitely a developing artist, but she's had massive success. And because that rollout has been so long, I feel like we've known Riley forever. But really, it's only been about a year and a half since she's been, with Capitol. And so, I love what she's doing. She's out on Winter Jam, and which I can't see because they don't go to the Northwest because that's lame.
No, they don't.
I hope to see her soon. The other one I really love on this list is Amanda Lindsay Cook. She actually is. She was with Bethel. She's actually no longer with Bethel, and so it'll be interesting to see how if she's going to go the independent route. But her second solo album was just beautiful, very art filled. I think I don't know how else to explain it. She's just a very artistic artist, from her videos and her visuals to her lyrics and her songwriting. And so I think she's an interesting pick for female artists of the year. So those are the two I'm watching, Riley and Amanda.
And I think you're right. A lot of these different things seem to be cyclical. I mean, last year was very heavy on the worship side. Last year we saw that a lot, and this year seemed to be definitely, you're right, more male dominated. And Riley is a great pick, I think, as well, because her name power has increased dramatically over this last year as far as being out of Winter Jam and just getting a whole lot of exposure. Do you foresee this being a trend in this streaming platform that we live in today, as far as labels taking a lot more chances maybe than they normally would on independent artists and really getting behind them in ways that we may not have seen yet to this point? Do you see that being a trend, or just maybe kind of a little bit of cherry picking still on who they think will stand out and make it to that next level?
I think this is a new way to roll out new artists. It's always been incredibly hard, and that's just what independents are up against in our industry because the gatekeepers are closed to them. But even for signed artists, it's just incredibly hard right now to make noise. There are hundreds of songs released every single week on Spotify, hundreds, and like dozens are worth your time. There's a lot of noise out there, and not all of it is great. But all artists have the same problem, is that how do we break through that noise? And so, if you look at it from a label side, or even if there's independent artists watching this, there's a lot to take note of, to put a lot of time and effort into a full album that then releases in the same space as singles, which is pretty much forgotten about the next week, is tough. So I think you're seeing a strategy of, let's find one great song Don't find me 2 great songs and 8 okay songs to put together an album. I just want to focus on that one great song. Let's release it. We'll put a music video behind it. We'll like rally around this for 2-3 months. We'll build your brand just a step at a time, and then we'll release another great song, and we'll do it again, and then we'll do it again. I think this is what we're going to see for, indefinitely moving forward. I think.
I like it.
I don't know what you think.
I like the full albums myself. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
But I just I'm used to all these number of years.
I think fans are overwhelmed and they don't know where to focus, because we as an industry are telling them, now look here, every 7 days. And there's just so much, whether it's a single or it's an album, there's just so much to look at every week. But that's where it's at. So it's the playground we all get to play in.
It's almost like you know where I'm going next too. The next one is Song of the Year. It's almost like you knew. I mean,
I don't have your notes. I'm just really, really good.
You're doing really well at ad-libbing and rolling with this, I tell you. But in a category, yes. Before we leave female category, in a year where the male counterparts, it seemed like you had a lot of different choices, a lot of different ways you can go with it. With the females, who had a little bit of a down year, does that make it easier or harder to choose the representatives of that category when there's not as many, per se, to choose from? From an editorial standpoint, is it easier or harder for you guys?
It's actually easier. Because you don't have to weigh so much, So if there's only 8 or 9 artists that are really doing well and making noise, that's a lot easier to choose the top 5 than it is from a pool of 20 to 30. So I think, and we weigh a lot. We don't just weigh this isn't just opinion based. I know it might seem like that, like, what is Kevin and his team like? And that's who gets voted. I mean, we weigh a lot. We weigh radio presence. We weigh Spotify plays. We weigh YouTube video plays, and Pandora stations. And we kind of take all the numbers, and then we put that together with our own personal opinions, and hopefully come up with a list. You're choosing categories that are at the top. So we haven't talked about one independent yet, which I'm a little worried about. We're like, I'm champion independent, so we haven't talked about any. We do have them, but
I got that.
It's just harder for independents to get up in these big, massive. You pick 5 songs of the year. It is kind of hard to put an independent in that space. Not saying we wouldn't, and we have. This year we don't, but yeah, let's talk about what we got.
We're definitely, that is actually upcoming next after this. We are
going
to be talking about the next big thing here coming up in just a little bit, because I am curious to see who you got as the next big thing and who's coming up in Christian music. So we are talking about that. We're talking about a number of different categories coming up ahead, but we also got Song of the Year. Let's take a look and see who is up for nominee for Song of the Year. Who had the best song, in your guys' opinion, in 2019? Check it out.
The 8th annual We Love Christian Music Awards is here, celebrating the absolute best Christian artists, songs, and releases of 2019. Powered by the leading Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com, and sponsored exclusively by Visible Music College, preparing Christian musicians, producers, and managers for music ministry and the music industry. Here are your nominees in the following category. Song of the Year, Danny Goki, Haven't Seen It Yet.
It's like the brightest sunrise, waiting on the other side of the darkest night. Don't ever
Switch, featuring Dylan Chase, Symphony.
'Cause even in the madness, there is peace, drowning out the voices.
Switchfoot, Native Tongue. Unspoken Reason.
Put that hunger in your heart, you put that fire in your soul. His love's the reason.
We Are Messengers. Maybe It's Okay.
maybe it's okay if I'm not okay.
Song of the Year. Voting for the 8th annual We Love Christian Music Awards is now open through Friday, January 31st, 2020.
And of course, a lot of just amazing. That's a difficult category right there. I mean, you got a lot of different artists. You got Unspoken, who had a tremendous year with Reason. You got Danny Goki, who had a breakout hit. Just haven't seen it yet. So you had We Are Messengers with a great song that was out there. You have some relative newcomers in Switch with Dylan Chase and Symphony, and with Symphony. Tell us a little bit about some of these particular guys as far as Song of the Year. There's a lot of different choices there. I imagine this is probably a close vote if I had to guess as well.
Oh yeah, this one's within 100 votes, like a three-way tie right now. It could go a number of directions, and actually this was the hardest category to nail down. We had over 20, I think 26, 27 songs that were seriously in the running. That's after like multiple hits.
Wow.
And I was just like, I mean, we could have added another probably 5 songs and had 10 total, and I probably wouldn't got much pushback from many people on any of these. These songs are really special to my heart, each and every one of these, and there were a couple that just didn't make the cut. That I like. Big Daddy Weave's Alive was just an incredible song this year as well. A couple worship songs that I thought would have been great. But that's what I love about what we've done with the Song of the Year categories is, and this is new last year, and we kind of brought it in this year, was that we added all the genre categories. So 2 years ago, we only had Song of the Year, and now we have Contemporary Song of the Year and Worship Song of the Year, Pop Song, Rock Song. So we can kind of break down into genres and get a little bit more in depth with the bench, so to speak. But I can't pick. I can't pick this category. I don't know how people are going to pick. I think every time I hear every one of these songs, just something inside me kind of clenches up and gets excited. Like they don't get old to me, and they have such truth. That Switch song, Symphony, is incredible. Just I still hear it, and I get goosebumps, and I've heard it 100+ times, and I love that one. But then I also love Unspoken's Reason. I think that's one of their career songs that they released, and the video they came out with that was awesome. Just the visual representation of dad's protecting his kid and letting him play and explore, and I think that was cool. I think Switchfoot had the only good song on their album. Sorry. Sometimes I'm not politically correct and just honest with my opinion.
That's okay.
But
that's what we like about it. We wouldn't have it any other way, Kevin. We really wouldn't.
Many people might disagree, but I don't know. That song was great, and they should have just released it as a single. Danny Goki, haven't seen it yet. Came out. That one's now a year old. That came out in January of last year. But it still feels brand new to me.
Yeah.
So good music in this. I don't know how you pick a Song of the Year in this with this group, but that's why it's your job, not mine. Everybody listening.
Yes, everybody listening out there. Yes, Laura Jacobs checking into the broadcast. She says Unspoken all the way.
Yes.
She says only their second #1 song. You probably didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, they definitely. I think. Start a Fire, was that probably their other one?
I was going to say, what was their other one?
I imagine it probably was Start a Fire if I had to guess. I know a number of different. They actually took that song Start a Fire and did a bunch of different regional versions with that one. They actually did one for Seattle that actually played in Seattle, a radio station. So Start Right Here in This City. There you go. Start Right Here in Seattle. So they did a couple of different regional takes on that, and probably sent it to a bunch of different radio stations.
No, that's cool.
She says yes. She says yes. Start a Fire was the other one.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, and that one makes sense. That one's got 18 million views plays on Spotify, so it's doing well.
Yeah. No, I think this is a hugely difficult category because you had a number of guys who had just tremendous years. I've heard Symphony everywhere, and I do agree it's a fantastic song. Unspoken, it is a career song for them. There's so many great. I imagine this one, if I had to guess, is probably going to come down to the wire. Wouldn't be surprised as far as being 100 votes right now. It's probably going to stay close all the way to the 31st if you had to guess, I imagine.
Very much so. Yeah, I think it could go anyway. So everybody's got to keep voting.
Everybody's got to keep voting, indeed. And now we're going to talk about. I'm interested in this guy's opinion as well, as far as the next big thing is concerned. We're talking about some of the independents, of course. We've always got our eye. Not only here at CMS TV, interviewing a lot of them, but NRT is fantastic at this as far as championing the independents. Kevin's got a real heart for that, and we definitely appreciate that. But let's dive in a little bit as far as what the song of the year, or for the actual artist of the year for the independents. The next big thing is. Let's take a look. Next big thing. Give us your opinions. Tell us what you think is going to be the next big thing out there. Let's take a look. As far as if I can. Next big thing. Take a look. Here's the video.
We Love Christian Music Awards is here. Celebrating the absolute best Christian artists, songs, and releases of 2019. Powered by the leading Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com. And sponsored exclusively by Visible Music College. Preparing Christian musicians, producers, and managers for the music ministry and the music industry. Here are your nominees in the following categories. The next big thing, undiscovered or underground talent. Attaboy. Caleb Crino. Cape Lions. The Cashmans. Wild Harbors. The next big thing, undiscovered or underground talent. Vote.
And we have a lot of different great just a lot of different just artists. The thing I love most about probably this category is the number of different genres that are included in this category. You just the musical stylings you heard and that video package just ran the gamut. I mean, you have so much variety to choose from. It's kind of a twofold question for you, Kevin. Number one, with so many independents out there and so many good independents, how difficult is it to just narrow it down to like 4 or 5 different ones that you believe are worthy of the next big thing title? And given that, who do you think is having such a great year and is killing it out there when it comes to the independents this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first measure is just overall music. That's really what it comes down to, and that's the biggest litmus test, I guess, is how good is the music. And then the second one is what kind of noise they're making, and will this nomination be a big question mark and fall flat, or will it be momentum driving for them? Are we going to introduce everybody in the world to them, or do they have a fan base that'll show up and help them vote as well? And so there's a lot of factors at play, and it's tough. Independent music is tough. We've got to know about it. I mean, first and foremost. And so I'm surprised how much we discover on our own, how much independent artists are not engaging with us as a Christian media conglomerate. But it's got to be on our radar first and foremost. Obviously, if we're going to nominate it, we need to know about it. And having a relationship with that artist is always great as well. You'll see a lot of these artists perform live at our We Love Awards in Memphis, which is really cool. I think a lot of them are very engaged and showing up and helping us out. So that'll be really fun to introduce you to them live. And I think you'll be really surprised at the stage presence these artists have. But next big thing is our one category where we're 100% focused on independence. And what I really want to do with this category is find those artists who we believe have a bigger platform right ahead of them. And so, last year we nominated Local Sound and they got signed to Integrity this year. And that's happened 3 or 4 times in our 8-year history, which is probably one of the coolest things I can see, is that when we discover an artist and then really get behind them and rally around them, and not because we're great, but just that momentum is confirmed that other people like them as well. So that's fun. But yeah, this is 100% independence. I think Cape Lions is an artist that is really putting out some amazing music, but they're very much also towing that mainstream Christian line. And then we have a couple husband and wife duos in here. The Cashmans and Wild Harbors are 2 really great husband and wife duos, and they're making great music. Hats off to any husband and wife who can travel the road together and make music and art together. That's a special relationship. That's 2 creatives making music together is great, and then being married on top of that. Hats off. Caleb Carino, I think, is an amazing artist that's just got really great sound, and then Attaboy is really fun as well. So we've got, like you said, we've got a lot of artists and a lot of genres here.
There's a lot of fantastic choices on there. Is there any front runner you're seeing in the voting so far? Is that a pretty close category, or is there a certain fan base of the independents that is showing up and outdoing?
No, there's one artist that's kind of running away with this one, but I can't share. I can't share who that is.
The suspense. All right.
That doesn't mean that. I mean, I've seen artists come through with 1,000 votes in the final week. So it's really, everyone is really everybody's game.
We have some opinions out here.
Yes, we do.
We do, yeah. We've tried putting Dave Pettigrew on your radar, Kevin. Remember? Although Katie reminded her.
Laura and Katie.
Katie reminded her. You gave him a shout out. You may have missed it. So
Dave needs to get on my radar personally. So I would love to talk with Dave and know what he's doing. So have him reach out. You guys know him very well. Have him reach out.
Suzanne Kimmelman says, Laura, send him a cookie.
Hey, I am not beyond bribes at all. At all. We make our own rules. There's no governing body.
It's arbitrary, right? I mean, Laura says now he just needs to give Collington a solid shout out.
See, there you go. I'm going to make those 2 happy the year I nominate Collington and Dave. It's a true story.
They won't be able to contain themselves, I don't think. You
might blow up.
You might actually see them show up in Memphis the year that happens. I would imagine.
Very true.
We'd like to thank everybody for joining us here on Facebook. Hey, Tom, he's joining us coming up next here in just a couple of minutes. His last single had over 200,000 streams on Spotify, so there you go.
Nice.
So we'll be talking to Tom coming up in just a few minutes. Laura says only makes cookies for her favorite artists.
That's funny.
Oh.
Well, thanks for having me and spending some time talking about the nominees. We work hard on it, and I appreciate everybody showing up and voting and supporting what we're doing. And it's one of many things we do in our corner. So if we forgot about you, or if we didn't nominate an artist, please let me know. And we've got lots of other ways year long to talk about artists. But I'm excited for what we're going to do in February 25th. We'll go live. We'll have a fun time from Visible Music College in Memphis.
We have one more category we'll talk about. It's a category that...
we're not done?
Well, one more category. We have about 5 minutes.
We're done.
5 minutes left. 5 minutes left in our TV time here, so we'll get into this one here. It's in our conversation beforehand. It's a conversation they think is always fun to talk about, and this is another one I honestly think that could go really either way. It's the Mainstream Impact Award, and I'm happy to say there's so many different artists that have really made a difference out there in the medium this year. Let's take a look real quick at the nominees for the Mainstream Impact Award.
The 8th annual We Love Christian Music Awards is here, celebrating the absolute best Christian artist, songs, and releases of 2019. Powered by the leading Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com, and sponsored exclusively by Visible Music College, preparing Christian musicians, producers, and managers for music ministry and the music industry. Here are your nominees in the following category. Mainstream Impact Award for King and Country.
There's a kind of love
love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows.
It's Kanye West.
See through your piece, tell me what your life like. Turn it down a bright light. Driving with my dad, and he told me it ain't Christ-like. I'm just trying to find. I've been looking for a new
NF.
It's worth it though, cold world out there. Kids, grab your coats. Been a minute, I know, now I'm back to Rome. Looking for the antidote to crack the code. Pretty good, I admit it, I'm in classic mode.
Scott Stapp.
There's gotta be more, 'cause this life is insane. Gotta turn this around and find the best.
Skillet.
Hey, never gonna stop, never gonna keep me down. Still the one standing now.
Mainstream Impact Award.
My goodness, that one could go lots of different ways. And if I had to give an honorable mention, actually, this year, only because she has been all over the place, late night and daytime talk shows, like few that we've seen. And, of course, she sung the national anthem for the College Football National Championship the other day. That would be Lauren Daigle. She had a fantastic impact mainstream this year. But as far as this category goes, my goodness, I mean, you had for King and Country, they released the Echo Smith and Timbaland remix. And just when you thought they were done with that song, they surprised everybody by coming out with a version with Dolly Parton and went on to perform at so many different country music awards and just blowing audiences away with standing ovations. You have Skillet.
I panned that collaboration so hard. I was like, what the heck is this? And I can admit when I'm wrong, and I was way wrong with that one. Way wrong.
Geez, you had Kanye West, who made a big, just newsworthy, I'm talking about everywhere, conversion to Christian music scene this year. You have Skillet, whose big song, Legendary, is now the every single week theme song for WWE Monday Night Raw, every single week on USA, for crying out loud. They've appeared on a lot of different secular satellite radio stations over this past year. I mean, Scott Stapp, of course, former lead vocalist of Creed. NF, my kid has seen him a couple different times. He's made a huge impact performing at a lot bigger venues now. I mean, my goodness, where do you go with this category? There's so many artists who are definitely making a huge mainstream impact. Talk about some of the stories we've seen this year.
Love this category because it melds the Christian music world and the mainstream world together with people who are impacting like God's kingdom outside of the church. And so that's the heart of this category. And so Lauren actually was not nominated because she won last year, and we have a little unwritten internal rule that you can't win. You can't be nominated once you win, unless there's a lot of music out, unless there's a really good reason. So she's just doing the same stuff this past year that she was in last year. It's just kind of continued. She'd probably be nominated every year. But yeah, she did win last year along with 4 other awards. So we have not forgotten about Lauren. And that national anthem she just did, my gosh, she's killing it out there. That
was good.
Kanye is my favorite, and I love Scott Stapp too. I love the mainstream artists that are really taking a risk by talking about God and turning a corner. So this is a fun category. I think it's going to be fun to talk about.
It's really going to be interesting to see what the voters think coming out of this. Of course, you can vote as many times as you want to at weloveawards.com. Over nearly 11,000 votes have been cast. The goal this year, I believe, Kevin, is 50,000. I believe internally we've set this year.
Yeah, we might not hit that. I did say that publicly, but we might not hit that. But we should hit in the 20,000 mark. We got a ton of votes that last week.
Come on, we got a little ways to go. We can do this. Rally the troops around, everybody. We can do
this year, so that's good. So we're good.
Monica Pita says, "God bless you, Kevin, tuning in." So a lot of people great joining us. A lot of people saying they absolutely love the site. Thanks to everybody for watching out there. And as we were closing up, we were talking a lot about the We Love Christian Music Awards and celebrating what was the best of 2019. How can we best be praying for you and for the entire team at New Release today and the We Love Awards going forward? How can we best pray for you guys in this upcoming season and all the great work you do?
Awesome. I appreciate you asking that.
You know, a big thing in my life right now that we've brought through the whole team is that NRT is fourth in our life. We love what we do. We love Christian music. We love this passion that we've all been called to with New Release today, and we love awards. But our priority is God first and foremost in our personal lives. Our wives, our spouses, in my case, friends and family, in my case, my kids. And then NRT is everything else. Fourth on that list is everything else. And NRT and We Love Awards is part of that. Excuse me. So if it ever consumes my day, I'm doing it wrong. Really. I don't think God calls us to ignore Him, our families, and our friends. So that's it. That's a prayer request that we can all be very, very aware of that as we get into an incredibly busy and work season. So that's it.
It's going to be definitely crazy, definitely busy for you guys. We appreciate the work you guys do. It's a lot of hard work, as anybody who's been on the show knows. It's a huge undertaking putting this on every year, and you've got great partners alongside of you helping to push this thing. Let's go ahead and take a moment in prayer real quick. We invite everybody joining us live and on YouTube television, however you're watching, to join us. Heavenly Father, we thank you for being together. We thank you for being in our midst. We thank you that you're continuing to give Kevin a vision that is furthering and giving great artists a platform to be heard. We thank you for his tremendous heart to serve and his tremendous heart to make your name known above all. And we thank you for the great work that New Release today is doing, spreading the gospel and just sharing the good news of hope and inspiration and bringing us together with great Christian music in this time of divisiveness. So we just thank you that NRT is shining a light and a beacon out there for great hope and inspiration, and really just trying to love on people and serve on people and really demonstrate what the love of Christ is looking like. And we praise the whole entire team, and we thank you for the team upcoming ahead. We ask that you give them energy, encouragement, and continue to give them a vision, not only for NRT, but for We Love Christian Music Awards as it now enters its 8th year. We just ask that you continue to bless personally and professionally Kevin and his entire team that has joined forces with him and the great work that they do. Just continue to give him a vision, continue to give him wisdom, continue perfecting that balance in life as we all strive for. We just thank you for everything you're doing. We just thank you for all you are and all that you're about to do in each and every one of our lives. And we thank you for this great broadcast and for our good friend Kevin here today. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, friends.
Yes, thank you, Kevin, for joining us. It's been a great honor and privilege doing this media thing alongside of you. It's great to see what you guys do each and every year, especially with this We Love Awards broadcast. We invite everyone to go vote. Vote. Your vote really does matter. It's fan voted. It really does matter in each of these categories. As you see, a couple hundred votes are separating a lot of these different categories. So your vote does matter. So get out there. Share that link. Go out there and vote to weloveawards.com. You can tune into the live broadcast February 25th. Visible Music College broadcast live on Facebook. Any closing thoughts, Kevin, as we wrap up here today?
No, I need your tips on how to get a darker beard.
I've joined you in the world of the beards.
Really have. Your beard game is getting strong there, Kev.
We'll talk offline.
Well, yeah, no, I tried going without the beard, and my daughter hated it. She's like, "Why did you do that? Never do it again." So,
my daughter hates the beard. As well.
Really? Really?
We can't ever win.
We can't. We try though, don't we? I mean, you gotta give us points for trying to make our kids happy. Yes.
All right, man. Thank you, and thanks to everybody watching.
Thanks everybody watching.